One of my favorite spring flowers is Iris reticulata. It flowers very early along with snowdrops and comes in various bright colors. A clump will slowly get larger each year, but it does not seed around the garden like grape hyacinths or scillas. Plant them and forget them. They are really easy bulbs, and they are hardy in zones 5 to 9. Iris reticulata is sometimes called the spring iris or dwarf iris, but most of the time people use the botanical name reticulata. Unlike the summer-blooming German iris, reticulata is a true bulb and looks very much like an onion set. It is offered for sale in the fall along with all of the other spring bulbs. Planting is pretty easy. Since the bulb is about 1 inch tall, dig a hole 3 times as deep and plant it. You can keep the pointy end up, but bulbs really don't care if you plant them upside down. Don't put anything in the planting hole. You have probably heard that bulbs need bone meal, but that is a complete myth. You should not use bone meal anywhere in the garden unless you have a phosphorus deficiency, which is very unlikely. This iris likes full sun, but will do quite well in part shade since the leaves start early in the year before deciduous trees leaf out. It is not fussy about soil, but don't plant it in a really wet, boggy area. It prefers a dry soil. In very early spring, the bulbs will develop grass-like leaves and then flower. After flowering, the leaves keep growing and get taller, but unlike tulips and daffodils, the leaves don't become ugly-looking. They do get about 1 foot tall, so it's a good idea to plant them a bit back from the edge of a border so the leaves blend in with other taller plants. By midsummer, the leaves die back and go underground. After 5 or 6 years, you might notice fewer flowers, which tells you that the bulbs are getting crowded. It's time to divide them. Once the leaves have started dying back, dig up the clump, leave 1/3 of the bulbs in the planting hole, and move the others to a new location. Then you are good for another 5 years. Iris reticulata is really easy to grow. They don't get pests, deer leave them alone, but rabbits might nibble the leaves in spring. But unlike crocus, they don't eat the flowers. There are a number of new cultivars on the market, but some of these are not as strong growing as some of the more established ones. I recommend that you start with any of these: Harmony, Katherine Hodgkin, or J.S. Dift. Another option is a real beauty that is a little slower growing. It's called Eye Catcher. A really nice yellow one is Iris danfordiae, which is a slightly different species, but it grows in exactly the same way. I find that the clumps of this one get smaller each year, but the color is exceptional. I am going to warn you, if you start growing Iris reticulata, it's like eating potato chips. You will want to collect them all. Happy gardening.